This isn't your average video. This is a direct call-out to the part of you that's been hiding, stalling, and pretending that someday it'll all just fall into place. But it won't. Not unless you make it. What you're about to hear, it's not gentle advice. It's a confrontation with the truth, with your choices, with the version of you that you could have already become, but haven't. Not because you weren't capable, but because you weren't committed. Let that sting. Let it sit. Because right now there is a version of you, stronger, sharper, more dangerous, more disciplined, watching you. Watching what you choose to do with this day, with this moment, with this breath. Not some imaginary fantasy, not a motivational concept. I'm talking about the real you, the one you were supposed to become if you didn't let excuses, fear, and laziness win. He sees you scroll. He sees you settle. He sees every time you say tomorrow and then forget what you promised yourself. And every time you choose comfort over calling, he gets further away. He doesn't hate you, but he's disappointed. Because that life, that vision you had, that greatness you tasted in your imagination, it was real, but you didn't fight for it yet because maybe, just maybe, you're still breathing for a reason. This moment isn't just another piece of content. It's a checkpoint. The version of you that could have been is standing at a distance, and the only way to meet him, to shake his hand, to become him, is to finally stop living like time owes you more chances. You owe you the fight. You owe you the transformation. You owe you the confrontation with the weak self you've been protecting. Don't you dare walk through another day like no one's watching, because someone is. And he's everything you ever wanted to be. You ever wonder why certain moments feel so heavy, so uncomfortable, so filled with anxiety even when nothing is technically wrong? That's not coincidence. That's the whisper of the life you were meant to live, the one that's trying to break through the static of distraction, doubt, and delay. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It just waits, watches, observes your every move like a silent judge. And not because it wants to punish you. No, it's trying to remind you this isn't what we agreed on. You promised yourself you'd rise. You swore you'd never waste another year. And yet, how many more cycles do you need to realize that every unclaimed day becomes a regret in the making? Every morning you hit snooze isn't just a skipped workout or a missed opportunity. It's one step further from the life that once burned so brightly in your vision. That burn, that ache, that's your higher self, watching in silence, wondering when you'll finally remember who you are. You think you've got time. That's the biggest lie comfort ever sold you. The lie that says, take it easy today. You'll try harder tomorrow. But you don't realize tomorrow doesn't recognize lazy men. It forgets them. It erases them. It buries them under the weight of what could have been. Meanwhile, the version of you that sacrificed, that trained, that said no to temporary pleasure for permanent power, he's not suffering. He's not anxious. He's living. He's walking through doors you don't even know exist because you never earned the right to open them. He's commanding respect. While you're still begging for validation from people who aren't even chasing their own greatness, that version of you is real. You just haven't earned the right to meet him yet, because you keep playing small in a life that demands you rise. And here's the part that hurts. He didn't need to be a fantasy. He was yours for the taking. All he required was your discipline, your discomfort, and your decision. But instead, you traded purpose for popularity, vision for validation. You cared more about being seen than being built. More about looking successful than doing what it takes to become it. And while you were chasing claps, he was chasing clarity. While you were consumed by likes, he was building legacy. And now here you are, staring at the echo of a life you never stepped into. But it's not too late. Not yet. Because as long as you can still feel the tension between who you are and who you could be, there's time to make war with your current self. This moment you're in, it's not punishment. It's an invitation. A chance to step into a different rhythm, a new mindset, a bolder standard. But make no mistake, change doesn't happen in convenience. It happens in chaos. You must break routine. You must offend your old self. You must become violently allergic to mediocrity. There is no middle ground, no neutral. You're either walking toward that future or drifting away from it. And trust me, the cost of delay is heavier than the price of discipline. Every excuse is an investment in your own destruction. Every lazy decision is permission for your potential to die quietly. So ask yourself, right now, who's winning? You or the lesser version of you that your future self will have to recover from? You know what's terrifying? Not failure, not rejection, not even pain. What should really shake your soul is settling. Waking up one day and realizing you didn't lose because life was unfair, you lost because you tolerated being average, because you were scared to offend people with your ambition, because you chose to be polite when you should have been powerful, and now, somewhere in an alternate timeline, the version of you who didn't flinch at discomfort is sitting in rooms you'll never enter, having conversations you'll never hear, living a life you'll never touch, all because he did what you wouldn't. He paid the price in full. He woke up early, studied when others scrolled, trained when others rested, and built discipline when others chased dopamine. He didn't wait to feel ready. He moved like he had no other option. And that's the difference. Not talent, not luck, not intelligence. It was hunger, a violent hunger for more. But here's the good news. The future doesn't need your permission to change. It needs your decision. One shift, one act of rebellion against your lazy patterns. One moment where you finally scream back at the comfort that's been sedating you for years. You know the one. The voice that says you've done enough when deep down you know you haven't. The one that tells you to rest. Not because you're tired, but because it's scared of what you'll become if you don't. That voice, you've listened to it long enough. And what has it given you? A life on pause, a destiny delayed, a heart full of what-ifs. You were not made to live like this, half in, half alive, half aware of what you're capable of. You were designed to dominate. But domination isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's a quiet war every day, where you choose what version of yourself deserves to win. So here's the challenge, and I'm not sugarcoating it. Kill the version of you that keeps getting in the way. The one that says, maybe next week. The one that waits for motivation. The one that fears judgment. That version is your greatest enemy, and you've been protecting it with your habits. You've been feeding it with your laziness. You've been giving it oxygen with your silence. But the future you want, it's allergic to that weak mindset. It only responds to clarity, to commitment, to consistency that doesn't care how you feel. It only cares about who you're becoming. And becoming isn't passive. It's violent. It's disruptive. It's uncomfortable. But it's worth it. Because if you saw the life that's possible for you, the relationships, the freedom, the power, you'd stop negotiating with excuses and start fighting like your life depended on it. Because it does. You keep moving, not because you feel like it, but because something inside you refuses to let you stay the same. That's the signal. That unrest you feel, that deep ache when you waste another day, that's not guilt. That's your future self screaming, begging you to rise before it's too late. Every choice you make is either feeding your regret or fueling your rise. There is no neutral. There is no pause. You're either building the man you were born to be or burying him one excuse at a time. And here's what most never understand. Your potential doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It just turns into pain. Silent, slow, suffocating pain. The kind that wakes you up in the middle of the night with a gut-deep knowing that you were made for more, but you're not acting like it. Look around. Most people are not alive. They're sleepwalking, working jobs they hate, numbing themselves with screens, settling into relationships that drain them, smiling through a life they secretly want to escape. You were meant to burn brighter. You were meant to rise in rooms no one in your bloodline ever entered. But that doesn't happen by accident. You don't stumble into greatness. You fight your way into it. You out-discipline your past. You outwork your doubts. You outgrow your circle, if you have to, because you're not here to repeat cycles. You're here to break them. Every generation has one who refuses to fold, one who rewrites the script, one who becomes the blueprint for what's possible. Why not you? And don't let your current reality lie to you. You're not stuck. You're just soft. That fire in your chest, that vision in your head that won't die no matter how much you try to play small, that's proof. Proof that there's a version of you waiting on the other side of this weakness. But you'll never meet him by staying safe. Safe is where dreams go to suffocate. You've done enough waiting, enough wishing, enough whispering. Your goals, like there's something to be ashamed of. Speak them loud. Move like you mean it. And when the world starts watching, wondering how you changed so fast, let them know you didn't just wake up one day different. You decided to kill who you used to be. And let me tell you something. Most people will never have the courage to admit you are the only reason your life hasn't changed yet. Not your parents, not your past, not your boss. You. The harsh truth is that your potential has always been there, but your discipline hasn't. The future you dream about, it's already real. In another timeline, in another version of you, the one who didn't quit when it got hard, the one who kept showing up even when no one clapped, the one who sacrificed the party for purpose. That version of you is already living the life you pray for. But here's the catch. He's watching you right now. He's watching to see if you'll keep scrolling or finally start building. He's watching to see if you'll fall back into your excuses or finally say enough. Because greatness is not built on motivation, it's built on war. A war between who you are and who you could be. And every time you choose laziness, distraction, fear, you lose ground. You lose time. And the life you could have lived takes one more step away from you. You're not waiting on a miracle. You're wasting a moment. You're not stuck. You're stalling. And the longer you avoid the pain of growth, the longer you'll live with the pain of regret. You want to change your life? Start making promises to yourself that you don't break. Become the kind of man who keeps his own word even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching. You don't need permission. You don't need support. You need relentless self-respect. That means waking up early when you don't feel like it. That means doing the hard things when no one's cheering. That means showing up as the person you said you'd become before you see the results. Because the life you want isn't built in one decision. It's built in thousands of silent, disciplined ones that no one will ever see but you. You were never ordinary. But comfort is trying to convince you that you are. Every time you sit in silence, every time you numb yourself instead of confront yourself, every time you make peace with mediocrity, you betray the version of you that was born to lead, to build, to dominate. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop shrinking to fit into rooms that don't challenge you. Stop calling it patience when it's really procrastination. This world doesn't need more people fitting in. It needs more people waking up. And if something inside you is burning right now, good, that's the ignition. That's your sign. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being ruthlessly committed to becoming better. Your future is not a fantasy. It's a consequence, and it's watching you. You ready to face it? You keep saying, one day I'll change. One day I'll wake up early. One day I'll start that project, build that body, fix my mind. But here's the truth you don't want to face. One day is the lie your fear tells your potential to keep it quiet. One day doesn't come, not unless you drag it into existence. And while you're dreaming, hesitating, negotiating with your laziness, someone else is out there bleeding for the same life you're wishing for. They're not more talented. They're not more blessed. They're just done waiting, done explaining, done folding. While you scroll for motivation, they're sweating in silence. While you make excuses, they make time. While you wonder what it would feel like, they go and feel it. And that's why they'll win. Because life doesn't give you what you wish for, it gives you what you work for. In the dark, when it's not easy, when it's not fair, when it's not Instagram worthy. And here's the wildest part. Deep down, you already know all this. You're not ignorant. You're just avoiding. Because action demands accountability. It means killing the weak version of yourself you've grown comfortable with. It means being honest about your laziness, your fears, your distractions, your truth. And most people don't want truth. They want comfort. They want dopamine. They want shortcuts. But not you. Not anymore. You didn't survive everything you've survived just to become a watered-down version of yourself. That restlessness you feel isn't anxiety. It's your calling, getting louder. That guilt you carry isn't punishment. It's potential screaming at you to stop wasting time. You're not broken. You're buried. And every decision you make from this moment forward either digs you deeper or brings you back to the surface. The version of you that's living the life you crave is already watching. And now he's waiting to see what you'll do next. So what will it be? You've been living as if there are no witnesses, as if your wasted days vanish into nothing, but they don't. They accumulate. They compound. Every skipped promise, every delayed discipline, every quiet compromise stacks into a version of you that's farther from who you were born to become. You might think nobody sees it, but your future self does. He's watching every decision you're making in the shadows, watching you press snooze when your spirit said, get up, watching you scroll when your soul whispered, work, watching you numb the calling with noise, when deep down you already know what needs to be done. He's not angry. He's heartbroken. Because that version of you, the warrior, the leader, the builder, the disciplined, dangerous, focused soul, he's real. And he's being delayed by the version of you that's too afraid to be uncomfortable. And here's the harsh part no one says out loud: if you don't become him, you'll be haunted by him. You'll feel the gap between who you are and who you were meant to be, and it will ache every time you lie to yourself and call it peace. You will try to distract yourself. You'll buy things. You'll chase people. You'll look for shortcuts in books, videos, fake gurus. But deep down, nothing will work. Because the only way out is through the grind, through the discomfort, through the part where nobody claps, through the phase where your friends don't understand and your results don't show up. Because that's the crucible where the real you is forged. And that future version of you, the one with discipline in his bones and fire in his eyes, he's not waiting forever. He's not going to beg you. He's just watching and hoping you'll finally choose sacrifice over excuses, purpose over comfort, becoming over pretending. Because he knows the clock's not just ticking, it's closing. One day you'll wake up and realize that the pain of becoming was nothing compared to the pain of staying the same. That all the late nights, early mornings, and lonely battles weren't punishment. They were preparation. And the silence you once cursed will become sacred. Because that's where you met the real you. Not the one filtered through fear. Not the one disguised for validation, but the version that stopped running and finally decided this life will not be wasted on me. But don't wait for that day to arrive on its own. It won't. You have to call it into existence with blood, sweat, focus, and audacity. Every time you move with discipline, you silence the voice that told you you're not enough. Every time you act without motivation, you prove to yourself that you are your own rescue plan. Every time you do what's hard instead of what's easy, you're not just changing your life, you're rewriting your identity. This journey, it doesn't reward who you were. It rewards who you become in the face of who you used to be. So if you're tired of waiting for motivation, stop. If you're done watching others live the life you dream about, good. If you're sick of being haunted by your potential, then bury the old you with your actions and resurrect the future you through your discipline. Because let me tell you something that most people don't realize until it's too late. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards the bold, the prepared, the hungry, the ruthless with their excuses and gentle with their purpose. And if you're reading this, still breathing, still beating, still hungry, then your shot isn't gone. It's now, right now. And if this message found you in a season of silence, of waiting, of questioning, then you already know it wasn't random. It was meant for you. So tell me in the comments, I'm not delayed, I'm being prepared. Write it boldly, because speaking it is the first step to stepping into it. And if your heart's still hungry for truth, don't stop here. The next video will shake you to your core